Food and Beverage Magazine Live, bringing food and beverage to life. With your hosts, James Beard Award winner Jennifer English and Food and Beverage Magazine publisher Michael Politz. Featuring leaders in the hospitality, branded food and beverage, and CPG industries, many of whom are Jennifer and Michael's friends in the business. For an informal and informative conversation where friends in the business share the latest intel, ideas, and best practices. Live, juicy inside scoop from the tastemakers, newsmakers, bread bakers, drink shakers, spoon lickers, clam diggers, farms, foodies, and friends of the food and beverage magazine world. Here are your hosts, Jennifer English and Michael Politz.
Hey, happy Labor Day weekend.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Is it Labor Day?
Oh.
My shirt doesn't look good today, does it?
No, I like you in black better than brown.
This is the black.
No.
Yeah.
It's reading mushroom brown.
I know why. Why is it reading like a mushroom?
I don't know. You've turned into Mr. Toad in that mushroom shirt.
Wait a minute. Let me try to work on something while we're live. I'm looking at the camera. I'm in the wrong camera, you guys.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
Oh, let me go back up. What was going on? That was weird, right?
I don't know.
I looked up.
I honestly
wondered,
don't know.
Why am I so low still? There we go. Okay. Hi, how are you? What are you eating?
You know, you're a parent of a young child. I'm a parent. He's 11. There are certain foods you become accustomed to. Look at me. I've got this gorgeous grilled cheese. I do open-faced grilled cheese, and I do like a cheesy tulle on the top, so it's crunchy. I do a crunchy grilled cheese.
It takes a long time, doesn't it? It's not a quick hit.
You mean like quick impulse control?
Look at Michelle. There's Michelle Tell. Remember we had her on?
I know. Hi, Mrs. Proof.
Yeah, Proof Awards. And Jimmy's going to talk about the chef we have on today. But let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about that in video. How about that?
Okay.
Let me do some fun little things. We'll do a guessing game on who we have on today.
Okay.
Right? What do you think?
Yes,
do you like that?
yes.
So we'll go old school. Like, look at this. This is old school.
Yeah.
Now, is that a tuna? What is that?
That is a tuna, yes.
Is that sustainable?
Actually, I'm going to take that back. I don't know. I can't tell you if that's tuna or swordfish.
Is it sustainable? Was it sustainable then? Did we have to worry about that back then? Because everything was sustainable.
Yes, because there were periods in our history where we were overfishing. Absolutely.
That's right. That's true.
And we didn't know any better. We didn't know.
And we love seafood, don't we? Do we love seafood?
Oh my God.
Do you love it like this? Soft, delicious. Look at this. Or do you love it like this? Like you can't get enough. You just can't get enough. Look, going back for more. Look at those nails. Now
those nails
that's a way to eat seafood, right?
Those are fondue fork fingernails.
Oh.
Can you imagine walking into a nail salon and saying, "I want my fingers to be fondue forks"?
Oh, wouldn't that be? I'm going to tell you that I don't know.
Oh, bread?
Oh, my God. Let's look at that one more time. Let's go back. Oh, my God. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. That's how I like to eat. You know what I like to eat like that? Softly and deliciously?
I'm afraid to ask.
You don't know what kind of food I like to eat? I like to eat meatloaf like that. And it's funny. It's funny that I said that because you're not going to believe who I didn't know is backstage. Who's backstage? One of my best and oldest dearests, almost like my sister, Amanda Aday, from her show on YouTube that we debuted here. How did that happen?
Surprise! Well, because today's theme of the show is our friends who have taken this moment in time when everyone is really suffering collectively. We have friends who are so genius and creative and inspiring that they are taking this moment as a silver lining and finding the silver lining and launching exciting projects. And we have two guests on with us today.
More importantly, look at her background. What is that wall?
Oh, I know.
It's my house. It's a stone house. It's super like this. The front half of the house, who knows when it was built? It's like
Wow.
ancient.
Wow.
This is Kentucky. I think it's limestone. It's a whole brick wall all the way around the house, my patio and everything.
No,
How
she's
are you?
That is,
she's so country.
and by the way, that's the limestone that makes the Kentucky bourbon whiskey taste so darn good, because the water filters through it and there's all this minerality to it. And so it's part of a bigger story. But our good friend, the star of All Access Eats, a hit show now seen literally in its, I think, 6th or 7th edition, our good friend Amanda Aday. Nice to have you back.
Thank you. Yeah, tonight, as soon as this is all over, my episode 8 is ready to go. My hair is falling.
Oh,
Your
wow.
hair looks great. Your hair looks great.
I feel like a crazy person. I wasn't super ready. I wasn't paying attention to the time, but here I am. Hi.
Well, we love it.
Hi. We
And
love
it's
it.
so funny. Well, I saw that your guest today, the other guest, was going to be sustainable seafood. And it's so funny. Today, this afternoon, Chill's mom is going through, Chill is my boyfriend, by the way. And his mom is going through some changes later in life. And she decided that today she was going to be brave and try sushi for the very first time ever.
What?
Wow.
Why or wow?
Wow. I want to see the video of that.
We didn't take video because I wasn't sure what her reaction was going to be to everything. But we went to, it's a place called Blue Sushi. There he is. And it's all sustainable seafood.
What? You're kidding me.
Yeah, so it's all the menu changes depending on what they can and can't get. And like when it first opened, we couldn't get yellowtail. And if, do you have yellowtail? And they'll be like, no, we don't have that. But this is a similar fish and this is where it's from. And on the back of the menu is listed all of the fish, where it's from, why it's sustainable. And it's actually really cool.
Wow.
Jennifer, are you drinking so early in the afternoon? Oh my God. Well, we knew you were drinking.
Yeah, I'm drinking coffee. I'm drinking coffee today.
We are big fans. I love the progression of this show. I love the evolution of this show. And I love that with each episode, we are getting more and more backstage with you in your authentic backstage self. For everybody that hasn't had a chance to see All Access Eats yet, would you tell everyone a little bit about what the narrative is and what your story is and where your food dream came from?
Absolutely. So I grew up my dad is Meatloaf, and I grew up on tour with him and traveling the world. And so a lot of times you're backstage, you get bored, you don't know what to do with yourself. And I would find myself in the kitchen with the caterers and learning to cook meals from all over the world, whether it was Germany or France or England. And so food has always been a big, it's comfort, it's comfort for everybody. And so I come home and come into my adulthood, and that was my way of showing my love to my friends and my family. I'd cook, everybody come over to my house, let me cook for you. And cooking all kinds of German food and British food and French food and whatever I could figure out, Indian food. And so that's just always been my way of who I am. And during this quarantine process of pulling my hair out from boredom and not knowing what to do with myself, my boyfriend has his own YouTube channel. And I thought, well, what if I just start, I can do some cooking demonstrations and tell people stories about my life growing up on tour with my dad. And so that's what All Access Eats is. It's me telling stories of tour and traveling the world, and then cooking food that goes along with those stories.
I mean, people are going to watch and they're going to see an incredibly wonderfully gifted storyteller. And you seem so comfortable in front of the camera. And there's a reason why that's the case. This is not your first time in front of the camera.
No, I've classically trained actress. I've been in front of the camera and on stage for over 20 years. Most people, if they recognize me, would recognize me from an HBO series called Carnival that aired in 2003, I think it was. So it's been a minute. But I was the harlot of Babylon on that show, Dora Mae Dreyfus, and a lot of other little things, and movies and TV and stuff and whatnot. And so, yeah, I've spent a lifetime in front of the camera, and now I'm just, instead of playing a character that some author has written, I'm playing myself and I'm cooking. There she is.
There she is.
Look at that! Look at that face! Look at that face! Oof.
So mean. So
I want to go like this.
I know. Poor Dora.
Hey, Amanda, let's talk a little bit about what you have come to believe and know about food people. Because almost everybody we interview that has this passion for cooking and hospitality is right now, in the professional sense, confronting the realities of COVID. And so we're asking the question, is what we do who we are? And for food people, you know, it's a very different kind of question. If you're a successful Wall Street banker and you like to say, that's who I am, but all of us are human beings first, there are almost no endeavors that are outside the arts where you would say that what I do is who I am, but especially in the culinary arts, especially with food. What I do really is who I am, because it's almost always an expression of. Will you talk a little bit about your philosophies of food and the arts, and who we are and what you've come to learn people as food people?
Yeah, that's a deep question. As far as like who am I? Yeah, I think that, and I was actually kind of having a similar conversation. A girlfriend of mine who's an up and coming musician asked about, you know, should you avoid talking about politics in your music? And I said, absolutely not. Who we are as people and who we are as artists are one and the same. You know, and who we are as people, and in our daily lives, that comes out, that is expressed in our art, in our craft, I should say. So whether that's a musician, or you're a dancer, or you're a chef, I think that it definitely is who you are. Now, how your medium comes into play, especially during this whole, you know, that's going to change. How do we do, you know, as musicians, we can't play, you know, these great, you know, music venues like we used to, and bars and things like that. So, and as I'm not a chef, classically, I'm not a chef, period. I'm a cook, but I've never worked in a restaurant. But I see we're adapting. So it's still very much who we are, and a part of us, and us expressing who we are. And yeah, we just are finding new ways to do that, whether it's YouTube videos or, you know, open air dining, or one of the big things that's been popping up here in Lexington is, you know, chefs who have unfortunately their restaurants couldn't sustain, are cooking, you know, at home or in commissary kitchens. You know, there might be 4 or 5 chefs sharing a commercial kitchen, and then, you know, trading off who does breakfast, who does lunch, who does dinner, and we're getting to-go orders and bringing that home. And so there's still, everybody's still doing what they love. It's just how are they doing it is all that's changed. But very much so. You know, I'm an actress for 20 years. I'm an entertainer. That's what I do. I'm not a musician, but getting up and telling stories for 20 years, for 30 years, I've been telling other people's stories. And now that I'm cooking, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just telling my own story. I'm writing my own scripts, and it's my own truth. And then I'm cooking for you, because that's also how I express myself and who I am. I'm I love to be in the kitchen and exploring flavors and explaining things. Even today, forgive me because I am outside, so if the noise, it's usually a quiet street. Today going out and taking my boyfriend's mom out to sushi for the first time and explaining to her what everything was. She was, I'm not even going to bother looking at the menu. You guys just order, tell me what it is, and I'll eat it.
Oh my God, what'd you get her?
We went through the whole of it. We did a salmon and truffle oil with wasabi shoots. We did a hamachi yellowtail with jalapeno and ponzu sauce. We did a couple cooked rolls for her just because she was very brave and daring, and that she went straight into the sashimi with those other flavors on top. And then we did like a sort of a crab roll with mango, and then another like a shrimp tempura roll kind of thing. But then they have like a couple of really cool raw things. We did a ceviche, a tilapia ceviche.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, we didn't stay. Yeah, no, we
that
just
sounds yummy.
And then the other, it was really cool. It was so they called it the salmon everything. So it was those tempura rice with some cream cheese, and then that was tempura. The whole thing was tempura fried. And then on top of that was salmon, and then they put furikake on top of it. But when
furikake
is that?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. And then some soy sauce or something. But so when you ate it, you're tasting rice and cream cheese and salmon and the seaweed and the sesame seed. But the the finish, once the texture was all swallowed, it was like you had just eaten an everything bagel with lox.
And she loved that, right?
She loved it. It was Bring them on. These are my neighbors. They pass by every day.
Right. Hello, neighbors. She's a big Hollywood star. She likes to pretend she's not. But I have the proof right here from her last movie.
Oh, fantastic.
Look at this.
That's
Look
a
at your
good
name.
one.
I see your name in there.
Here it is. Yep, that's on Amazon now, I think.
I remember when you were making that movie, and you're like, I can't wait to go to work because I get to see Milo every day.
Milo is awesome. Milo is a great big brother. He is a doll.
He was on Heroes. Was that called Heroes on NBC at one time?
He was on Heroes. Before that, he was on Gilmore Girls.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
He was one of the boyfriends on Gilmore Girls.
Where's Jennifer? She's popping in and out, and she's getting a black screen. I see her face. There she is. Oh, there she goes. Wonder if she's doing that on purpose.
She'll be back eventually.
I didn't know he was on Gilmore Girls. Where's your face?
No, I'm not doing this on purpose. I'm here.
Because that was the bit when they brought Gilmore Girls back on Netflix for that one special, right? Wasn't it Gilmore Girls? I don't know. I never watched the show, but it was a big deal because they didn't know of the boyfriends, which ones were going to come back and which ones weren't. And it was a big deal and it was announced while we were shooting Madtown that Milo was going back.
Sounds like that sounds like real life in some people's world. Is the boyfriend coming back?
It's real life. It's real life in our world because Rick Moonen can't get on the link. He's emailing me, and I'm sending him the link, and I don't know what's going on. I mean, it is Rick Moonen. That could be, I'm going to send him another link. It's the same thing. I don't know what else to do, Jennifer.
You know what? Send it
but
again.
I'm just happy. I'm just happy about that. It's Amanda. Like that was the greatest surprise of my life.
Yay!
I don't know why it's not working.
So anyway, guys, the whole point I want to talk about is that both of our guests today, the common thread.
I think we're only going to have one guest today.
Oh.
Well, maybe Rick will come. We don't know yet.
What if that's our other guest? Baby shark do 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 do. What do you think of that? I mean, I got all prepared.
Your dadness.
I could watch this for an hour. You want to watch? Does everybody want to watch this for an hour?
No,
or that?
That for an hour. That's what I want.
I know, right?
Are those
So,
the people
Michael-
that get like paid big money to eat on camera?
Yes, it's called mukbang. And
That's
we'd like to have a mukbang moment. Mukbang moment. Jennifer, eat your seat.
Wasn't the main girl who like gets the most money and is the most famous, the tiny little Asian girl that does it? Didn't she just get busted for not actually eating the food?
Stop.
Oh yeah, no, it was all over the news like yesterday or the day before that people realized that she's editing it and she's hand signaling to whoever's filming her to stop rolling so she can spit the food out.
No, you heard it here. I'm looking this up.
Scandal.
That is a scandalous. And Amanda Aday bringing us live scandal.
That is mukbang mix. No, that is mukbang misrepresentation.
You can't misrepresent the mukbang.
No.
That is not fair. Don't mess with my mukbang.
Do you see what I have here? Let's see if I can swivel the camera.
Is it an Instapot?
It is an Instapot. And you know what I have in my Instapot?
Beans. Yeah.
Magic beans. Magic beans.
Let me hear about your magic beans.
No, we're going to talk about them next week, but we're going to send Amanda, and Chef Rick Moonen is going to cook with them at a big fancy dinner that he's doing in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
Beans are going to be the sexy food of 2021. We're all going plant-based. We're going more. We need to have things that are mortgage lifters and budgeters. We need the protein. We need the healthy. We need the non-GMO. Beans are going to become a superfood in reality, even though they've been a superfood for 4,000 years.
Tell us about them.
You can do so much with beans.
I'm telling you. Hey, before we get wrapped up in the next topic.
Let me tell you more about my beans. So listen, let me tell you about my chili. Okay, since we're talking about beans, right? I'm trying to get Rick Moonen on. Here's the deal. I have a recipe for chili, okay, ladies? Listen, Amanda, it's our private recipe. We're not telling anybody.
Okay.
And your dad would love it depending on the mood he was in. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's 239 bean chili because one more bean makes it too farty. And it is a great recipe. It takes 3 beans, right? Chili.
I'm listening. I forgot to tell all my friends that I'm here now.
3 sticks of cinnamon and a can of Coca-Cola. Go ahead, Jennifer. What do you have to say about that?
I think that recipe actually sounds promising. And one of the things we don't realize is there are over 400 varieties of beans, most of which most of us don't even get to taste. We're going to take you through a tour of these for sure over the next weeks. Our chef friends are helping commit to be ready because we happen to think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for us to be making what I'm going to call stone soup. Mm-hmm. And a 25-pound bag of beans will feed 400 people. And I want you to imagine that if you are a cook or if you're a food person, and one of the things we were driving at today is, what do you do when your restaurant closes? What do you do when your friends are hungry? Well, we're food people. Our love language and art is cooking for people. So we're all going to cook more. Now, I can't give everybody a lobster tail, but I can give you some of the best, most delicious magic beans prepared in a savory, sexy, juicy way. And you're going to be really satisfied because they're going to be cooked with love. I predict that more and more people around the country are going to be having these kinds of parties, kind of like what our good friend Kathy Gunst from NPR's, and she's a James Beard Award winner, by the way. She did a soup swap. And what she did is she would have these parties and everyone would make a big batch of soup and then they'd swap them. So you had a little bit of a different flavor each night. I really am hoping that people will gather together cooperative style with their friends and do a bean swap where they'll each make either a great version of chili or a soup or a stew or a side dish. Extraordinary non-GMO heirloom beans and have all this really rich nutrition. And they'll have different flavors every night of the week. And we're going to have our friends who are chefs like Rick Moonen and like Amanda doing segments where they will teach us how to make one of their favorite recipes. And literally every month, we're going to be introducing you to ways that you can make something and share it new and fresh with your friends. And it's going to keep our food world alive until we get to where we go next. And maybe this is part of where we go next.
I mean, that's what we do. Like, so, not this week, but next week's episode that I'm going to film tomorrow now. I'm telling a story about, going out to festivals. So my boyfriend plays in a band called
fun.
Gypsy. So we go out to these, sometimes 5-day music festivals, or the ones where I'm stage managing and I have to be there way before the festival to set up the stage and way after the festival to break everything down. And so I have a whole rig set up now. I mean, I have a kitchen, I got a living room, my tent is my bedroom. And I'll put up the stove and bring all whole ingredients that I pack in ice chests and coolers. And one of my favorite things to make for all the, and then I'll feed anybody that's walking by my campsite, for the rest of the crew or other bands and artists. I do chicken and dumplings, which is not beans.
Oh, I love that.
But beans is a much more easily, beans would be easier to sustain on a 5-day camping trip than raw chicken. So
right.
You know,
talk a little about, and one of the things while we're waiting for Chef Rick Moonen, who's going to be joining us momentarily, Amanda, one of the things I love about All Access Eats is it introduces those of us who are not in that festival culture a glimpse at what life is like on the road. Mm-hmm. And can you help explain to people the sort of the generosity of people in these communities that, literally travel around the world with bands and go to these festivals?
Yeah, I mean, so growing up on tour with my dad was a very different situation than what I would do as an adult and going to the music festivals, but it is very community based. So the last big one, we have a few that are kind of local here in Kentucky, that when you go, it's funny because it's 1,000 people, but it's 1,000 people that you see every year at the same music festival over and over again, or, it's mostly friends. It feels like a big giant family that gets together every year. So there's a big one that we do called Moonshiners Ball that happens every September. It's sort of the last festival.
Oh, fun.
And it's great. And these days, as it's grown into something bigger, we now have the guys from, I can't remember the TV show that's about moonshining.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so they actually bring out that, because I believe they're from Kentucky, but they so last year actually brought out their stills and did like a moonshine demonstration. And, these are
cool,
super ancient copper stills from, the turn of the century. Woo! But you'll see everybody will be in their campsites. Not everybody, but a lot of people. It's kind of like everybody brings a little bit something different to the the musicians bring the music. And then a lot of us, we bring food. So you'll wake up in the morning and, there'll be 2 or 3 campsites of people that are, hey, I made breakfast burritos or whatever it is. I'm not the breakfast person. I'm the night person. I will eat other people's breakfast until I have enough sustenance to cook food because I'm too hungover from the night before.
Michael, one of the things I really love about this idea is that there are people that follow bands and create this, and part of it is they feed people. And what I wanted to drive home, the point I wanted to drive home is this idea that no matter who you are, no matter what happened, COVID closed your restaurant, you don't have your gig, there's something you can do. There is absolutely something you can do right now to be you. And talk a little bit, Michael, about the book, because one of the things it does is it helps you think like a restaurateur, even if you can't open a restaurant, because you could do something. And the tips in it are good.
Absolutely. Do I look better like this, by the way? Does this make me look better when the book's over my face?
It makes,
yeah.
I mean, the book.
Everybody watching prefers that.
I thought so too. I mean, the book itself is right here, right? The book itself is really how to start your restaurant, how to run your restaurant, it's guide to this restaurant success. So nothing's changing. Like your fire is in you. You
Right.
know what you're doing. Read the book and figure out what you need to do. I like to say this. We've talked to so many different chefs, David Burke and Tracy and all these people in New York and Elizabeth Blau. It's all the same story. Everybody wants help. Some people are like, okay,
Right.
I'm going to go out and do. Elizabeth with Honey Salt, doing, right? But what they're doing is they're following
yeah.
They're following the terms of engagement, right? So now your terms of engagement are a little bit different, and as long as you follow those, you should be able to be successful given that, right? Think about how many businesses are out there running, and they're running, I mean, I don't want to say this, but they're running ways they shouldn't be and really ethically, and they're not ethically, but they're loopholing, they're figuring, right? Imagine if you had a list of things that you could do and you can't do, and you follow what you could do, how great it would be, right? And how great it would be
Michael,
for delivery, like David is doing all of his dining outside. It's like setting up a wedding every night, he said, but that's what they're doing. And people are enjoying it.
Michael, would you talk a little bit about what the actual definition of terms of engagement are for operators?
Well, let me zoom back and forth. This is my new fun little toy that I get to do now. Do you like that, Amanda? How I can do? I couldn't do that before. Terms of engagement. How you run your business, right? It's process. You now have, and Marcus Lemonis, if you guys watch The Profit, right? Marcus always talks about process, right? Well, your process is defined right now for you by somebody else, right? You cannot do this. But it's not what can you do. So take what you can't do, figure out what you can do, and make it happen. It's really simple, right? Because if you're with a blank screen and you're like, okay, do whatever you want to run your business. Some people don't know how to do that. Some people I'll make a great spaghetti sauce. I'll do this. They don't know how to run a business. This way, you're like, you can't do this. Okay, great. I know now with all my great ideas that I can't do these things. What can I do? And it sort of gives you a roadmap. And make that your success, right? Don't make it your I don't want to use the word politically correctly. Don't let that allow that to cripple your business, right? Allow that to thrive your business. Now you have a roadmap, You're safer than the next guy. You're doing this better than that person. You're creating this better than that person. You're doing picnic baskets. You're having liquor, and you're able to put your tables outside before you weren't able to put your tables outside, right, on the sidewalk. Right. Now you are, which, by the way, will bring more people because they'll see people eating. Right. Mm-hmm. Because when you have everybody on the inside, you just have to look through a glass window. You imagine walking out with a hot dish, a hot pie, smelling the neighborhood up. People are going to come in, right? It's the old thing, Jennifer, of, very successful. And Amanda, I think we even went there once. At what's it called? Dupree's? What was that called? Dupar's, right? Yeah, Dupar's, right? Yeah. Dupar's, right? So when somebody went and wanted to have a pie at their table, the rule was the waitress had to take that hot pie, walk around the entire restaurant, and then drop it at the table. That way, every table saw that pie and it went to the restaurant
and it smelled it.
And smelled it, right? Well, I understood there was some drive-bys going on. You know what I'm talking about, a drive-by?
No.
Yeah, the waitresses walk by, they give you a little drive-in. But, Amanda, what?
You're such a dad net. You're such with all the dad jokes.
Dad jokes. Oh, God, right? So, yeah, so that's...
it just dawned on us.
Right, it just dawned on me. I was thinking of like dad jokes, and then your dad's a dad joke guy too, by the way.
He is the dad joke guy.
Yeah, because I just start remembering some of the things, and you're just sort of like, oh my God, we were younger then, and now I'm like, oh God, I've turned into meatloaf. I'm like, we were sitting at lunch, and he's like, we're talking about a TV show, and it becomes his TV show. And I'm like, what about me? I thought it was my TV show. No, it's our TV show. No, it's called Dinner with Meatloaf. I'm like, oh my God, what about me? How did we get to this meeting?
Nope, everything is his. If you, hey, look, this is our pie to share. He'll cut one slice and go, there you go, and take the rest.
I love it.
That's him.
So that's the key to that whole to the COVID, right?
Yeah.
You got people like Amanda. Now Amanda could start using her her audience, start coming out with pop-ups in different restaurants, because now restaurants are going to be available. And she could do one night at, right? One night at whatever the place is, wherever there's a restaurant. Whoop, we got a comment on here. Hold on. It's Amanda.
It's Barbara. Hi, Barbara.
It's your Mushintach and Slam and call it again. Barbara!
She's my biggest fan.
We love her. Well, you know what? We're her kids' biggest fans, aren't we?
There we go. It's true.
That's right. So I think that in the end, follow those rules. But people like Amanda now can come out and do a pop-up and then have to own a restaurant, not have to spend $20,000, $30,000 to have an opening night. You can just plop it up, charge people. Yeah. Right? It's an amazing concept that it's available now.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, Amanda gave us a great new show, and she didn't realize she was doing it. There are these two guys who listen to music for the first time on YouTube, and it blows up the internet because they listen to classic tunes from other generations and genres that they've never heard before, and they do running commentary. I want to tell you that her idea of having a show where you take somebody and introduce them to foods that they've never had before, that's a show. And you go to those places, and actually you go to those places with experts who know what to order. They know where to go. They may be regulars. They may have a relationship with the chef. They may have friends in that business. I'm telling you, that's the way to live. We're going to have someone introduce you to all the best things.
And we're gonna start doing that with Chill's mom. So sushi was just the first one to start. But we're already talking about there's a North African restaurant. We're gonna take her there. We're gonna take her there's an izakaya, so she can try cook Japanese food and see what that's like. And
hey, listen, we did Korean food last Wednesday. Imagine.
Yeah, there's a Korean place we want to take her to. Vietnamese.
Are you gonna film her? Is she funny?
Well, she is very fun. She was fun I wish we had filmed it I didn't want to because if she didn't like it, I didn't want to, embarrass her or whatever. But
that's I can hear Michael saying, yeah, but you want to go, ooh, right? Like you want that reaction.
So Jennifer, are you talking about the two kids, the little rapper kids that we're watching In the Air Tonight, that video?
Yes.
Have you seen the one though when he's listening to Summertime for the first time ever?
No, is it good?
Movie? Oh, you can tell he's trying not to, and it hits him, and he has to hide his face because it hits him, and he's just crying, and it's the greatest thing I've ever seen because he's like, I don't know what this is about. Yeah, it's a little rapper kid, no idea what he's about to get into, and then he starts playing and just.
I'd like to do that with some kids for Too Bad Out of Hell.
Real, right?
Right. Which song would you play?
If I was Heaven Can Wait, if I wanted to get an emotional reaction out of them, Heaven Can Wait.
Right.
If I wanted to get a funny reaction, probably Bad Out of Hell or Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Yeah,
Paradise would be a fun one. They would be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I can just imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I'm talking about baseball.
Hey, listen, and since you mentioned baseball, I am a longtime baseball fan, and I've got to note the passing with great sadness of a real connoisseur who passed away from COVID. Tom Terrific, the heart and soul of the Miracle Mets. He was a pitcher. He had a long career.
Oh, is that what he died from? Tom Seaver died of COVID?
Tom Seaver. Tom Terrific. Tom Seaver.
Have a cigarette, Amanda. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Nobody else can do it. You see what I deal with, Jennifer, with my friends? She would do this to me. We would go to visit her dad backstage, right? We would go into his dressing room. It'd be me and her and what was the British, the girl, the assistant, right? Francis, right? And I've known them all for all these years, right? And she'll be like, oh, Michael, stay here with them. I'll be right back. And then she would leave to smoke a cigarette. And I'm sitting in the room while her dad's getting ready to go on. And it's humidity everywhere. And I'm like, I don't want to say the wrong thing because I don't want to set him off. I don't know what's going on. And then I would be like, where are you? I'd be texting her, get in here. Where are you? Where's your sister? They would leave me in this room alone with her dad. And he loved it because he knew I was so uncomfortable, by the way. He thought it was the greatest thing.
Yeah. And he could bug you while he
would ignore me. Right. When we walked in, first he would ignore me. She goes, "Daddy, you know Michael?" And he goes, "Yeah, I know Michael." Like that. And I'm like, all right, because he is like alpha male, right? Is he not? He is alpha male.
Yes. He's really just a good old boy from Dallas, Texas that played football.
Right? And his best friend Brett is like this big giant movie star that nobody even knows who he is, but he's in every movie ever made. Right, Amanda?
He is. So I finally gave in and watched The Joker the other day. I had no idea. And I'm like, wait, what? I didn't even know that Brett he's Mayor Gordon in The Joker. I was like, what? And what? Yes. Brett
he was Nicolas's dad, and when Nicolas Cage was doing Ghost Rider, he's the dad in Ghost Rider. I mean, it was just crazy stuff.
He's on everything. He was on Lost for a minute. I think he was one of the others. Yeah, he's everywhere. You can turn on like 50% of every movie ever made, and Brett will be somewhere in the movie.
And then he was Barbara with the most famous people, like Barbara Streisand's boyfriend in that movie Failure to Launch.
Yep.
Right when she and what was Seth Rogen was the son.
Yeah.
And there was Brett. No one even knows who he is. He's in half the movie.
Because he's a great actor. He's amazing.
So we're not going to have Rick. Rick is having technical because he can't get on with his phone. He can't get on with his computer. Okay. I don't know how he uses kitchen equipment, but it's a whole other thing. But we are so honored that it was Amanda today.
He's probably trying to use the wrong browser. StreamYard is really specific. You can only use Chrome or Opera, I think. And yeah.
He said he had Chrome, so I said put it in.
Well, then I don't have an excuse for Rick anymore.
Then reboot. No, he's genius. We'll have him back. The show is.
I'm gonna go watch a Chadwick Boseman movie. I'm gonna watch the James Brown story.
There you go.
And I watched 42 again, paying homage to the great Tom Seaver who left us. Tom Terrific was a pitcher in Major League Baseball. He's a Baseball Hall of Famer. He was a winemaker and connoisseur, and he's just one of those people who really defined the gentleman era of baseball for me. And it was really upsetting to hear that we've lost him to the COVID. Thank you, Tom Terrific, for a lot of wonderful memories. And we want to say that this show was all about our friends that have new shows. We want you to check out All Access Eats. Amanda, give everybody the details.
Yeah, All Access Eats on YouTube. You can also find me on Facebook, Amanda Aday. I've got a page, Amanda Aday, All Access Eats, and on Instagram. So come and check me out, subscribe to my channel, and let me know what you think.
She's never offered me to come. She's never, by the way, Jennifer, she's never offered me to come check her out. She's always showed up with a boyfriend. Anytime I'm coming in with my boyfriend. I'm coming in. Oh, by the way, I'm not coming in, but my boyfriend is. Like, hello. But you say, and I always say this, who's my favorite house guest?
Me.
Who is my favorite? Amanda is my favorite. Why?
I don't know.
Because she leaves candy. She leaves candy.
I do leave candy. I leave a clean room and candy or candles. It depends on who's putting me up. I figure out what they want and I leave it behind.
Oh my God, we love you. All Access Eats.
Love you guys.
Congratulations.
What a beautiful surprise.
Was that a good surprise?
Yes.
Okay, but before we go, I want to talk to you and have you address how now is it time for everyone to think about what they have to say and to teach. And it doesn't have to be a talk show. Maybe it's a teaching show. Maybe it's a cooking show. How can everybody who's in the industry that's getting displaced think about how their adaptation might be teaching something or sharing something?
It's here's what I've been watching. And my life has been like this. Something happens that's not good. I don't want to say negative, positive. It just doesn't feel good, whatever it is, right? You end up in a situation
because it causes change. Because it causes change. That's why.
Right. But you don't know what's going on. You have an attachment to something, and then you really wanted this to happen, and then it didn't. Right. Well, I have found in my 54, I know I don't look this, 54 years, and I actually look a lot younger when I put my mask on, but it's always better. whatever it is, it turns into something better, And I've always been like, hey, lemonade, lemons, lemonade, right? I saw this quote today. You ready for this? If all the popcorn goes into the container, the hot oil at the same time, why does some kernels not pop? Because it's not their time to pop yet, right? It wasn't their time to pop, right? So don't look at that's one of the things that inspire, right? Like I'm getting ready to do the keynote for the Florida International Restaurant Show, right? And what is it? It's like these guys, we need to help them. Yeah, I get it. It's financially sucks. It could be devastating. But you know what? When you go down, you're going to bounce and you're going to keep going, bounce higher the next time. You're going to bounce and bounce higher the next time. If you slow down, I write about this in the book. If you slow down, you're not going to get up that next hill on a roller coaster, right? So ride it the heck through. I would use another word, Jennifer, but it would be offensive to you.
Honey, I can take it.
You can't take it. Well, Jennifer, go have a great weekend.
Hey,
I don't
listen,
know what else to say.
what we need to do next, we got to get some of the Florida restaurateurs on, and we were talking about Philadelphia, Pennsylvania,
Let's see if
New Jersey.
I want to do an entire 8 panel of Philadelphia restaurants, Jennifer. Let's make that happen. And if they can only give us 6, say no, because I want 8. I want everybody talking over each other. I want to hear it all. I want to go back to Philadelphia, the birthplace of America, the birthplace of my great grandfather. I want to know what's going on in my what do you call that? Not my hometown, but it's where my heritage comes.
Your roots.
My roots.
Yep.
Jennifer.
And don't forget, when you're talking about Florida and South Florida, we've got to remember to mention our great friends in South Florida, like Daniel Singer from Filthy Foods.
Is that where he is? Because he's filthy.
Yep. We need to have him on that panel.
No, we don't need him on any panel. You know why, Jennifer? He needs to pay us to be on the panel. Do you know what I'm saying? He needs to. Daniel, you need to support. That's all I'm saying. Jennifer.
That's true.
Whether you are thinking about becoming a restaurateur or you are already in the business, Michael Politz has written a must-read, The Food and Beverage Magazine's Guide to Restaurant Success. Pick up your copy today at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Books A Million, or wherever fine books are sold.
I wanted to squeeze that in before you said goodbye.
I know.
How'd you know?
But I love working with you, and this is a real privilege that we get to be out here working with the kids in the business.
Listen, the kids in the business. Let's get some people let them email us and let's try to get them in. Go to our website.
Yeah, seriously.
You can get me.
If you're a restaurateur, and
even a wannabe. What if they're a wannabe? What if they're a wannabe and have questions?
Come and join us, because this is our family show. Is our family table. Come and join us.
Can you give them some beans?
I will send you beans. Now, here's the other thing. If you go right now to canyonbeans.com.
GrandCanyonBeans.com.
And you order right now, I will give you buy one, get one free right now.
This is your new business venture.
Until midnight.
This is your new business venture.
Yes, it is.
I see a lot of mistakes being, I want to make sure everybody knows I am not a part of this. I see a lot of mistakes being made, but yet Jennifer is doing it on her own right now. What?
Who's making mistakes?
I just think that you could be marketing a little bit differently. That's all.
Well, I'm going to, but that's not the point.
I know. I'm just saying. I would have sold out by now. Who sold out their book the first day? I did. Who sells out of everything? I do. So I just wanted to give you a little advice. I've got some really fun advice for you.
You know, it'd be actually fun. Why not next month? Well, Monday's a holiday, but how about next week? We do a special show where I'm the guest and you're inviting me on to teach me what you need to teach me. How's that?
Oh my God. How to build your brand?
Yeah.
How to build Grand Canyon Beans.
Or any business. Because everybody in the food business right now has the opportunity.
Let's do it. I'm game.
Because what I'm going to tell you is this little tiny bean has an infinite life of food inside of it, because you can sprout it, water it, plant it, grow it, and from that you will grow more beans and more beans. Something as simple as this tiny little magic bean. See that tiny bean? That bean has infinite nutrition for an almost unlimited number of people. All you have to do is sprout it, plant it, water it, grow it. This is a magic bean. In fact, all beans are magic beans. I think this is the egg of the vegetable world. That's what I think.
Now, how are
about
you?
that.
So I'm going to look over your marketing material. I'm going to look over your website. I'm going to do what I would do, and I'm going to shred it apart.
Okay.
For success.
Yeah.
Why
don't I have an idea? Why don't we see if Mr. Lamonis will come on with us?
Oh, Lamonis?
Lamonis.
Cool beans. Joe Davis says cool beans.
Thank you, Joe.
No, I don't need Marcus. This is all me. I'm telling you. Okay. I got this.
So, everybody that's out there right now, go to Green.
But you need to be transparent. You need to be a major transparent if I'm going to do this with you. And don't get offended.
Transparent. What am I not saying? Oh, yeah.
What I'm saying is, I don't want you to get offended. Get offended. Grand Canyon beans like that?
Yep.
It took you a minute to read that.
Well, it did.
Now that's part of the problem. Let's start with that. If you're having trouble reading your own website, I'll let you think about that.
I read like an editor, GRANDC.
What I'm saying to you is just think about that. Just think about that. What's my website? What's my website? FB what? FB 101.
Yeah.
Because I'm teaching you everything there is about food and beverage. Yeah. Grand Canyon beans. Beans 101. Now I would do beans that make you fart. Beans that make you fart. I would do that. No, I'm just kidding. All right, we're going to talk about this. You're not going to bug me about it. We're going to talk about it. You're not going to have an ego.
I don't have ego, though.
That's the big problem. So we're going to do a live success with Michael Politz. I love it.
Wait. Time out. Do you think, listen, I left my ego behind when I had kidney cancer. The doctor took out my kidney and my ego at the same time. Thanks God.
Thanks God.
The kidney, the tumor, and the ego, they all left at the same time.
Thanks God.
Thanks God.
All right, go have a good weekend. Goodbye. Thanks God.
I love you. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.